No. Yeah.
It would probably, most likely, start to pivot down like that. Okay? It'll go. Okay? If this sheared off, you know, if I took an axe and cut that off, yeah, it would drop. But usually what happens is something breaks loose up here. Either this collapses and crushes, or this falls apart and breaks off, and the whole thing swings down. So to prevent that from happening, we put this little support guy in here, and we call him a gusset. It could be a girl, but we call that a gusset. So what happens there?
It supports the beam.
It supports the beam. It can't swing down because it's being held up. This is just like if you were supporting something with your arm, right? Now if you're supporting something with your arm, you know, you lock out your elbow and you can hold it up kind of forever. But eventually you get tired, your elbow bends, and it comes down, right? So if this were a simple flat gusset, you could make a gusset out of a piece of paper. I could cut a, you know, that would have been a good one to do. Cut a triangular piece of paper and stick it in there. It'll act like a gusset. A lot of times the things that we build with around here, we cut them out of plywood and we stick them in there. But the way that fails, just like your elbow, this will bend. So how do we keep it from bending? We have to make it stiffer. Now, you may or may not have seen this yet. You might have learned this from Mr. Petronzio last year. But if I have something flat, I'll try to find one that hasn't been bent already. If I have something flat, it's easy to bend, right? If I have the same material, but it's bent, we call that a flange when it's got like a right angle on it, or like an I-beam has flanges. Whenever you put that fold in it and create a flange, it becomes stiffer. So this is the same stuff as this, but I can't bend it. I really can't bend it because it's got a flange. All right? So if I replace my flat gusset with an angle, with a flange, that's going to be harder to bend. My elbow is not going to bend as easily. So that should be able to support more weight than this. Now another thing you might have learned from Mr. Petronzio last year. Have you ever run into the words tension and compression? Mm-hmm. You have? These guys did. Okay, so make fists. Put them together. Push. That's compression. Okay? Pyramids. Those are compression structures. They're piling up rocks. Okay? There's limits to how far you can go with piling up rocks. Take your hands. Kind of go like this. Go like this. Hook them together. Pull. Okay? Tension. Tension. Compression. All right. Most things we work with are stronger in tension than compression, because most things will flex under compression eventually. All right? This piece of paper, if I push on it, it folds. If I pull on it, I mean, I can pull real hard and nothing's happening because it's stronger in tension than in compression. So when our support is underneath this beam and the weight's pulling down, is this in tension or compression?
What?
What?
Compression,
Yeah.
right?
Being pushed.
It's trying to make the ends come closer together. That's a good sign that it's in compression. If we put it above, like this, what's it in? Tension or compression?
Tension.
Tension. It's being pulled. The ends are being pulled apart. It's in tension. So even a simple piece of string in tension is very strong, right? I can pull on it, it's not going to break. So what we're going to do, one team is going to do structure number 1, the simple cantilever. One team is going to do structure number 2, the flat gusset. One's going to do structure number 3, the flanged gusset. And one's going to do number 4 with a piece of string in tension. All right? And then we're just going to compare how they support weight and how they fit. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. These are the materials you're going to use. And just let me show you something real quick. The vertical part you see there on the left of each of those drawings is going to be one of these bigger angles. The beam is going to be one of these. I want you all to use the same components, so it's kind of pseudo-scientific, and we're building with the same materials. We're going to anchor it with one of these squeezy clamps to the leg of one of these tables, okay? So you have to make sure, look at the way that's fitting onto that. Pretend this is the leg of the table. Thank you, Mr. Felton. Okay, see how that's on there?
Mm-hmm.
When I mount my beam to it, I have to put my beam on the outside of the angle. A lot of teams last time started with their beam on the inside of the angle, and there was no way to mount it to the table leg, so they had to take it apart and start over. So this